The Nexus Military Academy's entrance exam was designed to be impossible for non-citizens. The final test, survive a direct hit from a 15-9 plasma cannon, had eliminated every outsider applicant for 3 centuries. The cannon could vaporize a battleship's hull. No personal shield technology could withstand it. Then Rebecca Becca Martinez, a human from Earth's outer colonies, walked onto the testing ground carrying a piece of chalk. Admiral Kreth announced over the intercom, "Applicant Martinez, you have 30 seconds to prepare your defense. Standard energy shields are provided at Station 3. Becca ignored the shield station. Instead, she knelt and began drawing on the ground with her chalk. A simple circle with strange symbols around the edge. The audience of cadets laughed. Commander Torvak, the weapons instructor, shook his scaled head. Another delusional human. At least the cleanup will be minimal. 10 seconds, the Admiral announced. Becca stood in the center of her chalk circle, pulled out another piece of chalk, and began casually tossing it hand to hand. Fire! The plasma cannon discharged with the force of a small star. The brilliant beam screamed across the testing ground, hot enough to turn the air itself into fire. It struck Becca's position dead center. The explosion should have been devastating. Instead, the plasma hit the chalk circle and went somewhere else. The beam bent at impossible angles, following the chalk lines like water in a channel. It spiraled around Becca 3 times, gaining speed with each rotation, before shooting straight up into the sky and dissipating harmlessly in the atmosphere. Becca stood unharmed, still tossing her chalk. Next test, please. The silence lasted 17 seconds before pandemonium erupted. Replay the footage. Admiral Kreth's voice cracked across species barriers. The slow-motion analysis made even less sense. The plasma hadn't been blocked or absorbed. It had been convinced to go elsewhere. The chalk symbols weren't shield generators or energy dampeners. They were just chalk, calcium carbonate, the kind human children used on sidewalks. Dr. Vathan, the Academy's chief physicist, was having what humans would call a nervous breakdown. This violates 11 laws of physics. Chalk can't redirect plasma. Becca was brought before the examination board immediately. Explain yourself, Admiral Kreth demanded. What technology did you use? No technology, Becca said, pulling out her chalk. Just basic energy redirection. The plasma wants to go forward. I suggested it go around instead. Suggested? To plasma? Sure. Energy follows the path of least resistance. I just made my spot the most resistant place in the universe for about 3 seconds. Commander Torvak slammed a tentacle on the table. Chalk cannot create resistance fields. Not the chalk, Becca corrected. The symbols. They're from Earth. We call them traffic signs. This one means detour. The board stared at her. You're telling us, Dr. Vathan said slowly, that you redirected military-grade plasma with a traffic sign? A very convincing traffic sign, Becca clarified. See, on Earth, we have this thing called civil engineering. We spend centuries telling matter and energy where to go, water through pipes, electricity through wires, cars through streets. After a while, you learn the universal language of you can't go here, go there instead. She drew on the table. This symbol means road closed. This one means merge. This one means roundabout. I just combined them and made them really, really emphatic. But plasma doesn't read signs. Torvak sputtered. Neither do rivers, but we still redirect them. The universe runs on patterns and suggestions. You've just been yelling at it with technology instead of asking nicely with geometry. Admiral Kreth pulled up her application. It says here you studied kindergarten education? Yeah, I teach 5-year-olds. You know how hard it is to get 30 human children to form a proper line? After that, redirecting plasma is easy. At least plasma doesn't ask why every 3 seconds. The weapons test was repeated 17 times. Each time, Becca drew different symbols, a yield sign, a slippery when wet warning, even a duck crossing sign that made the plasma beam waddle before dissipating. The Academy had 2 choices. Admit that a human kindergarten teacher had revolutionized energy defense with sidewalk chalk, or pretend it never happened. They chose a third option. They hired her to teach a new course called Applied Universal Suggestions. The final exam requires students to redirect a plasma blast using only naturally occurring materials. The pass rate is 0.3%. Becca considers this too high and is thinking of adding a pop quiz, where students must stop a nuclear reaction with finger painting. The galaxy's military leaders don't sleep well anymore, knowing Earth's kindergartens are apparently training grounds for reality-bending engineers who think plasma cannons are less challenging than teaching children to share. Retry Claude can make mistakes. Please double-check responses.